Hello and welcome everybody to Trust Your Grind podcast. I'm your host Chris, and today I have the most talented singer from TikTok with me. He goes by the name Grayybird. So let's welcome him in. Welcome, man.
What's up, man? Thanks for having me.
So, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I got some good sleep and I feel great. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really fine too. So, you have been blowing up on TikTok.
Yes, sir.
How does it feel?
Well, to be fair, I had a great year. It was great, man. Just consistency, uploading. When I first started, I was doing like 4 videos a day, and
Mm,
right now I kind of slowed down because I wanted to really put out more original stuff. So
mm,
the numbers kind of went down a little bit, which is natural because it's much easier to blow up on the covers.
yeah,
But after this next song, I'm gonna go back to the covers for a little bit and go hard. But it's been great, man. It's been great. The support has been, amazing, and I love my
yeah,
fans.
yeah. And that video that got like 10 million views with your bird when you're drinking tea.
That's right. That's right.
That's sick. That's go so viral.
Thank you. Yeah, that video. That was the video that started it all. It's crazy. That video did like 6 million views in like the course of 4 days. It was the first time I ever like went viral, and it definitely started my career on TikTok. So I'm very grateful for that video.
Yeah. So how did you start your music career? Like,
So we're gonna go back. We're gonna go way back, which
yeah,
is cool. I haven't really talked much about my story online, so this is one of the reasons why I really wanted to do this. Again, thank you for having me. I feel like it's
yeah,
nice to share the origins. So, do you want to hear the whole story, or do you want me to go
yeah,
in parts or
yeah.
whole
Go
thing?
the full story. Yeah.
Cool, man. Cool. So, I mean, wow, where do I begin? A lot of things happened along my path, like to get to this point, and I'm not even like where I want to be yet, but so many things happen along the way where it's like I was reassured that I was doing the right thing. So, for example, I started singing when I was younger. My mom was in the church, and she had me up there as an altar boy. So I started singing and reading. I did a lot of reading in the church. So that was like kind of my start into music. They'd have me sing up on stage gospel songs. I would read certain passages, and I started like kind of just getting used to being in front of a crowd. And when I turned 17, there was an app called Vine back in 2014 that a
Okay.
producer found me on it and said, "Hey, I really like your voice, kid. I want to fly you out to LA."
Wow.
So I fly out to LA, and all of a sudden I'm in these rooms with these like celebrities, like um, Jake Paul, Logan Paul, Shawn Mendes. Before any of them were famous, I was in the rooms, I was in the parties with these guys, and I'm getting a taste of the LA lifestyle.
Yeah.
And the manager at the time says to me, he says, "You know what, kid? I don't want to sign you, but I like the songs that you write because I was writing songs." So he
Mm,
said, "Write songs for my artists." And I'm 17, right? I'm like, "No, I want to be a singer, and I don't want to be a writer. I want to be a star." It's 17 years old. You're naive, and everything is what's the word? It's unclear when you're that age.
yeah.
So basically, what I said to him was, I said no. And ironically, I went back to Toronto to write songs. But the where the gray came from was I was writing these songs in LA, and every single song was like a different genre. Some would be pop, some would be R&B, some of them EDM. And he says to me, he's like, as a joke, he's like, "Yo, like you're always in like a gray area. Like pick something." So as a
Uh,
joke, like you're gray. So that stuck with me. So
okay.
yeah, that's where the name came from. So I remember just taking that, and then I left LA and I went back to Toronto, and that's where the journey really began. But that's where the grade comes from, and that was basically my start in
Okay.
music. Yeah.
Wow. So, what did your mom say when they want to fly you over to USA?
So they flew me out, and my mom was always a huge supporter of mine. My father not so much, but my mom was always my mom always she always like told me that you have something, you have a unique voice that not many people have, and it gave me courage. It gave me the confidence to keep going. You know, my
Mm,
dad wanted me to go to school. He's like, the music thing isn't going to work out, and it's fair. You know, that's all he knew at the time. But in LA, there was a record deal that was getting ready for me. It was a publishing deal, which meant I was going to write songs for other artists, and it was Capitol Records at the time. And
mm,
my mom didn't let me sign it because I was underage. She was scared for me.
yeah,
So that's I thank her now. I was very angry with her back then, but now I'm grateful that she let me sign. Who knows what would have happened, man? I was just a kid,
yeah,
you know.
yeah, yeah. I think you made the right reason. No, the right choice. I mean,
Thank
uh,
you.
yeah. So now, like, why did they just want you to write? You have so like a angel voice. You like, I don't
Back then,
understand.
back then it wasn't an angel voice, man. I won't lie to
Okay,
you. There was a weird phase of my voice where most people hit puberty and their voices go down. Mine went up. Mine started to get really high and nasally like this. So I was singing these songs, and I swear to you, I'm not gonna lie to you, it sounded really bad.
okay,
There was always the like the gold under the dirt, but I was still maturing. You know
yeah,
what I mean? It's not what you hear now. It's definitely not. But I was always writing. I was
mm,
always a writer. I'm a writer before I was a singer, and still to this day, I love writing songs.
yeah.
Yeah.
So when did you like say to yourself like I'm gonna put my own music on the Spotify and do my own thing?
So after 17, I met a manager. Um, Took us about 2 3 years to get into the studio with him, just like on and off. I thank him. He was a big part of my journey. And I got into the studio, and for the next, like, from 17 to 21, I was in the studio almost every single day. I would remember I would take a bus for like 3 hours just to get there. I walked down this like long path to the studio in every weather, winter, rains, hail, summer, just to get to the studio. And I wasn't even the one recording. I just wanted to be there watching the other artists record so I could learn. I had to learn
Mm.
about songwriting. I had to learn about how to record, timing, production. You know, I just wanted to be around there. I was a student at the time, and I was just taking in the information, and
Yeah,
nothing was happening. I don't know why I didn't think to post to TikTok or post to Instagram. At that time in my life, I literally would go to the studio, try to write a song, and give to the other artists, and I would just sit and watch for the next like 3 years till I was about 21. So that was like my boot camp in a
okay,
way.
all right. So do you have any songs that if you say the name on the song and the artist that we know about that song?
Like, as my favorite song, you mean?
Yeah, the
Oh, like
songs
that I
that you
wrote for.
made. Yeah,
That I
yeah,
wrote for.
yeah.
Yes, there's this kid named Lost Official, who's a good friend of mine, and he blew up on TikTok a couple of years back. He used to sing to streamers. He sang to Kai Cenat, uh,
Okay,
a lot of really big streamers, Dom, like a lot of these big Twitch guys, and I would write the songs for him. So if you look up Lost Official,
yeah.
any of the songs, one of them has 1 million streams, which is really cool.
Wow.
And the writing was always fun, but it was never the goal, right? Every writer, I don't think there's some songs I regret giving away, because
Yeah,
they're never gonna sing it like you.
yeah, exactly.
But it was part of my path, and I'm proud of it.
Yeah. So, what do you take your inspiration from when you make your music?
That's a great question. It's got to come from a true place. Every song that I've written so far has been a true story. I think if it's not authentic, the listener is gonna feel that.
Yeah.
That's why I'm really proud of the next two songs that are dropping. I took my sweet time to get them right, and I'm excited for them. And they're from the heart. Every single lyric is a true story. Because if I'm a producer once told me this, he said if you get into the booth and you sing something, and you're lying and you don't mean what you say, it's going to come out from the other side and the listener's going to pick it up.
Yeah.
Be
Yeah.
true, be authentic.
Yeah. So you are soon gonna drop two new singles.
Well, one first, and then we'll see how it does, and then hopefully the next one. My goal in the future is to drop original music and then keep the covers going, just to maintain, the numbers and stuff, keep the flow of
Yeah.
fans coming in.
What genre do you like the most?
Genre, I
Yeah,
like.
genre. Sorry. Yeah.
No, no problem. I just wanted to make sure you said that.
Yeah.
So, what genre do I like the most? I guess you could say pop. I love pop. I love R&B. I'm actually a big fan of EDM. The last song I dropped is an EDM song, so
Mm.
huge fan. Actually, in Sweden, you guys are great with the EDM records.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys have some great music down there.
Yeah. So you have heard a lot of music from Sweden?
Not a lot, but I remember studying one of the greats, Max Martin,
Mm.
who loved the Swedish music scene, and I'm a huge fan of his. He is like the godfather of pop music, and a lot of
Yeah.
a lot of the hits were written by these Swedish writers in these Swedish factories. So I've always
Yeah.
wanted to go to Sweden to write music, and
Yeah.
hopefully my career will take me there one day.
Yeah. 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 I hope that you come and visit here because
Thank you.
we have so many talented, like you said,
Yes, sir.
producers and songwriter here. Like every, like Backstreet Boys and everyone, like they come here to make their music before, like Britney Spears, Backstreet Boys.
It's different level out there, man. You guys don't
Yeah.
play around,
But it's strange because we are a small country. If you like looking at USA,
right?
they come from USA to work in Sweden. That's like that's
Right,
really
right.
sick. Yeah.
There's a creativity that the sweet like. I remember watching a documentary with Max Martin. I can't explain it. There's something that these Swedish writers have. It's just the way that they think. It's
Mm,
um, like art is in the air down there. So
yeah.
that's definitely one of the places on my bucket list. I would love to go and write there in New York. I would love to go to New York as well.
Yeah.
Song, yeah.
Yeah. You're so welcome. So
Thank you, man.
I
We
hope
gotta
you
be here
come visit. I hope you come and visit someday.
one day for sure.
Yeah.
I'm willing.
So so what are you doing on your days right now? Are you writing songs every day or?
Yeah. So TikTok has become my career at the moment. I go live almost every single day,
Mm,
and it's been good. It keeps me afloat. It allows me to do music 24/7. I'm in the studio, man. I have a studio in my room. I got my microphone and guitar and everything. I have everything I need right now. The phase that I'm in, I'm 25. I want to I want to get to the level of like being elite. I want to
yeah.
master my sound. I want to master my writing. I want to master my guitar skills.
Mm,
I just want to lock in. I'm not so much looking at like I need a hit right now or any of that stuff. I just want to get to the point where I'm so good at what I do that success has to follow. So I'm in that phase right now.
yeah.
Yeah.
So have any record label like chasing you right now when they see you popping up on TikTok?
I've had a really bad relationship with record labels in the past. I've been in some really terrible management deals.
Mm,
Um, I've seen record contracts. I've seen people promise me the world. Nowadays, with TikTok and everything,
mm,
unless the deal is really, really good, which I've had some deals in my career, never like really, really good. Here, I'll break it down for you. The best kind of deal is, let's say you have a song go out and the song is going crazy by itself. That's the best case scenario, because then labels will come to you and say, hey, listen, we'll sign the song. We won't sign the artist. We'll sign the song. And if the
mm,
song does well, we'll talk about a deal. But if a label finds the artist first and there's no hit record and there's no numbers coming in, the
yeah.
label most of the time will say, all right, well, here's a deal for you. We're going to take 90% of,
Mm,
like, we'll promote everything, we'll give you 10. And that's even a bet, because if that 90% that they put in you, all that money, and if the song still doesn't do well, you owe all that money back.
mm,
These days, what I'm learning is, honestly, if you can, independence is the best way to go.
Yeah.
Once you do have a natural organic hit, sign the hit. And of course, I'm not saying record labels are bad. Eventually, at some point, if you want to be the biggest artist in the world, you have to sign with a record label.
Yeah.
I'm not so much looking for that right now as much as I'm looking for writing the song, getting the record, getting my name out there as Grayybird. And then we'll see if the right deal comes along, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
So you have any plans to make some music videos right now to any of those songs that you make?
Oh yeah. So I have two songs coming out that I'm super, super excited for. The first one is called Good Man, and it's about the girl losing the guy. Most of these songs talks about the guy losing the girl. I kind of
Mm,
flipped the script here. And the next one is called Our Last Sunday, which is my favorite song that I've ever written. It was about spending a final Sunday with a girl that I was really, really into a long time ago. It was a long time ago, but it came from the heart. And I'm really, really proud of these next two songs. I really believe that they have potential to change my life. So I'm saying it here first.
mm.
Good Man and Our Last Sunday. I'm so excited for. Can't wait for you guys to hear.
Yeah, I'm so excited to hear them too.
Thank you, man.
So, which artists are you like? You have been your idol when you were a kid.
Sure, yeah. So if you look through my phone, you're gonna find a lot of really old stuff. I love, Marvin Gaye. I love Michael Jackson. I
Yeah,
love Earth, Wind, and Fire. I'm a big, big fan of the Goo Goo Dolls. I don't know if you know them. You know that song Iris? Don't
yeah,
want the world to see me. Love the Goo Goo Dolls. Big, big fan.
mm,
The artists I look up to nowadays who are doing it now, I think the closest that my voice timbre is closest to Ed Sheeran because I
mm,
he's a big inspiration of mine, and Bruno Mars.
yeah,
Love Bruno Mars. Big fan of his. Uh, Dean Lewis, Dermot Kennedy, Rascal Flatts. I am nothing but a product of all my influences. So
yeah. But you have your own voice that's like
thank you, man.
incredible.
Thank you, sir. It took a while, man. It took a long time to get to that point, Going to different studios as a kid, I remember the biggest problem I had, even with like when A&Rs would come in from different labels, they would say, "Oh, this kid sounds too much like Ed Sheeran," or "sounds too much like Bruno Mars," right? And that was a problem for me because at
Mm,
the time I was listening to their voices and I would copy them. I would sing like them.
mm,
So these label guys would say, "No, we can't take a chance. There already is a Bruno Mars." So finally, I remember when I turned about 21, 22, I finally the realization hit me. I'm never gonna be Bruno. I'm never gonna be Ed. I'm never gonna do them better than they do them, right?
yeah,
But it works the other way. No one is gonna do you better than you do you. So
exactly.
hopefully there's only one Graybird.
Yeah, yeah. How old were you when you were like feeling that I'm gonna really do this as my career? Like,
Oh, I mean, it was a hard road, man. So many times I wanted to quit, and it's funny when I turned 24. I remember my management dropped me, and my girlfriend at the time we broke up, and it was a really hard period for me. This was last year,
mm,
almost a year and a half ago, and I remember I just kind of sat there. I'm like, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe music isn't meant for me. This was before I started to do TikTok. I started to do TikTok for fun, with the bird. That's where the name Graybird comes from. I always
yeah,
had the gray, but since the bird, came into my life, I guess I added them together. And that bird, honestly, I love him so much. Hopefully, you could tell on the videos. He gave me a
mm,
second chance at the music because the TikTok started to do well and I started to go live and I started to make money off of live and it allowed me to do music again. It allowed me to just focus on music. So
yeah,
2024 was the year I realized, okay, like maybe this isn't for me, and I really let go. Moved to Lebanon to come see my mom, which I hadn't seen in a long time. And 25, a little late to be honest with you. 25, it took me to 25 to really decide, okay, this is what I'm doing. I'm gonna make this work, and
yeah,
we up from here.
yeah. So you can say like TikTok have like saved your career.
Yeah, definitely. 100%.
That's really strange because you have so talent voice. You are like, for me, you're a superstar. Like I,
Thank
when I hear your voice, I like, how can I not have heard
Well,
about
that's
him
the sad
before?
part. That's the sad part about about this generation now. It's sad and it's good. Is that you can be, um, you could have Michael Jackson's voice. You could have one of the best voices in the planet, but
Mm,
if you don't have the contacts, if you don't have the following, then no one's gonna hear about you. So
yeah.
that's why when TikTok came in, TikTok really changed the game. It allowed Nowadays it's not about who sings the best. It's about who has the best content
Mm,
and who just doesn't stop. It's
yeah.
fair, at the same time. So, but I really appreciate it, man. And just know that, I'll die trying before I stop, you know,
Yeah. Yeah. hundred
everything
percent.
I can.
Yeah. I think that you're born to this because
Thank you.
you're like I said, you're so talented. Like,
Go on. Tell me more. Tell me
yeah.
how amazing I am.
Yeah, you're amazing, like a
Thank you,
superstar.
brother. It's a lot of work, man. And I still, in my mind, there's a long way to go. You know who's a great inspiration of mine that I compare my career to? I don't know
Mm.
if you know him. His name is Michael Bolton. Do you know him?
Maybe if I have listened to him, is an artist.
He's an artist from the 80s. His name is Michael Bolton. He's in my mind, I can't believe I forgot to mention him as an influence. In my mind, he is the greatest vocalist of all time, and his
Yeah.
career didn't start until he was 37 years old. He was
Wow.
already writing songs. Can you believe that? Can you imagine going your entire life until your late 30s, and then
Oh,
he became one of the biggest superstars in the entire world. To this day, he's known as one of the greatest voices in rock history, Michael Bolton. So I
I
always compare, careers to that. I'm like, you know what? It's okay. It's on God's timing. Just because I want it now, and I want to be a superstar now, like everyone, I guess.
mm,
Sometimes we have to trust the divine and know that there's always a story, even if you can't see it.
yeah. And you're doing vocal coaching, right?
Yeah, so I did that as like kind of like a little side hustle, just to keep myself afloat and keep the music going. And it was great, man. I helped a lot of people. I helped. I wanted to give the singers real advice because nowadays, these vocal coaches they give these advices, but they can't do what they're advising. You know what I mean?
Mm-mm.
So it was great. I put out the course. It sold pretty good, and it hopefully it helped a lot of singers because it took me a long time to get here. I wanted to shorten that time and help the fans.
Yeah. So, what is the future plan for you? Like, do you gonna move from
Yeah,
Lebanon, or you gonna stay there?
definitely. So coming here was really good for me because I just got to do music. I really got to find my sound. I got to record every single day. I
Mm,
got to write. My goal for the next little bit is to finish the songs that I want to record. Hopefully, if I could finish four and add them to my catalog, at least at that point I could say, okay, this is my catalog. This is who I am. This is Grayybird, and then hopefully head out to either LA or Miami and start looking for management. That's really the goal here, is to find really, really good management because I have the following now that I wanted. I know who I am as an artist. I found Graybird. I found the sound that is me, and
yeah.
now it just comes down to finding the right management, the right deal. You know. So those
Yeah.
are my plans.
But I think that you can like do it on your own now when you have so big fan base. Uh, like if you just make music and drop it and then make your own TikTok videos about
Yeah.
your songs, I think that you can do it.
Definitely with enough time, like right now I'm sitting at 850, which is okay. I know it sounds like a big number, but to be really independent and to be really really set, you got to get up there. You got to get up to at least 2, 3, 4 million, which is
Yeah.
doable. Like I'm slowly on the rise, and I keep telling myself, I'm like, this is my first year of posting. So
Yeah.
technically, it feels like a long journey, which it has been, but technically I just started. So But you're definitely right, man. If I can maintain the following and keep it growing, man, independence,
Yeah.
best thing in the world. No one has to tell you what to do. You do whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly. And like you say, you can sign a song, but you don't need to sign a deal like you are stuck to them for like 2 albums or something like that.
And dude, I have been around the artists who have been in the terrible deals, who have lost their careers, who've been stuck there for years. Like there's some horror stories in the record deal game. So I'm grateful for my mother for not letting me sign when I
Yeah,
was younger. You know, now I think I'm like, even if someone offered me a crazy good deal and there's millions of dollars, I'm not so quick to grab it because I want the success and fame. I'm like, okay, like really think about what it is that they're offering you. Get a good lawyer, look through everything. I'm happy to be in this place now, you know, in my matureness as an older person versus being 17
yeah,
because I would have lost my way.
yeah. That's a really important thing. Like you don't need to rush into anything. Like what you say, sell your soul to the
Sell
devil.
your
Like
soul. That's right.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Very real,
yeah,
especially in LA where everything is. And you know, when they say sell your soul, it's like I've seen artists, you know, sell, you know, give up their morals or do something they didn't want to do for like a big fat check.
yeah,
And but then there are artists like I don't know if you know this artist. His name is Connor Price. He's fully independent. He's very big on Instagram and TikTok. He does his own shows, and he says in interviews. He says in interviews all the time. He says, "No one tells me what to do. No one can put me in a dress or make me do a
mm,
song I don't want to do."
yeah,
It took him a little bit longer, but I mean, that's the dream, you know, to
yeah,
be your own boss. So
yeah. But
hopefully,
but maybe you can start like contact people here in Sweden and like
oh, I wish.
try a new way. Like
Well, hey, if you know any songwriters, man, you send them my way. You say, listen,
yeah,
I know this
yeah,
guy. He's a bird, but he's good.
yeah, yeah. I have a lot of connections I can help you with
Oh,
here.
I'd love to, man. I mean, Sweden, like I was telling you, is on my bucket list. I'd love to go there, write some
Yeah.
songs. Kidding me? Of course, any day.
So when was the first time you went on a stage?
First time I went on a stage, like a proper stage, or
Yeah.
like any stage, like a big stage, or like just in
Yeah,
general.
the first time you perform.
First time I performed, technically, I think I was four or five. I was in,
Wow.
uh, I was in the mountains of Lebanon. I remember I was a kid at the time, and my mom made me get up in front of. It was at this party, this town party, and my mom made me get up, and she's like, "Okay, you're gonna sing and you're gonna kill it." And I'm like, "Mom, I'm scared. I don't want to go do this." She's like, "Get up there and be confident."
Mhm.
Um, and then my first really big performance was in Toronto at a place called Dundas Square, which was about for I think it was like 3,000 people were there, and I
Wow.
was so nervous, man. My gosh. But you know, just being in Toronto and going to different bars and clubs and performing, I'm seasoned now. You know, like I can handle a crowd.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to the live performances. That's the funnest part.
Yeah, yeah. It's like a euphoria when you're on stage. Like no
It,
one.
it's a different feeling, man.
Yeah.
Especially, I haven't felt the feeling of people singing the song back to me. That's one of my dreams.
Mm.
I can only imagine how it feels to have like 5,000 people singing your song back to you. So you know, hopefully I'm lucky enough to experience that.
Yeah. What's your dream collaboration?
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, my massive dream collaboration since I was a kid is to do a song with Bruno Mars. I think, wow, Bruno Mars featuring Grayybird, that would be, or Ed Sheeran, one of those two. Those two have been my idols since I was a kid. So,
I don't
there's
I I don't think it's impossible now because you have your fan base and like if you're reaching out to Ed Sheeran or make your fans like, can you tag Ed Sheeran on this song and like and then you say in the video, please let me make a song together. Like
you
I
know
think
what it is, though. You know what it is. For sure. You know, if you're big enough, you can definitely reach them. But the problem is the labels. You know, the label
mm,
has to accept. We forget that these superstars they still have to follow instructions. You know, if
yeah
Atlantic
yeah
Records tells Ed Sheeran, "Nah, you can't sing this song," he's not singing it. You know what
uh,
I mean?
yeah.
This is
Because
why the independence, man. But sometimes, a great songwriter always told me, he said, if the song is good enough, if the song is good enough and if the song is big enough, anything can happen.
yeah,
So you never know, man. Hopefully I write it one day and the whole world is dancing to it and Bruno hears it or Ed hears it and they say, yo, we're doing the remix.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Like maybe Max Martin is the producer and Ed Sheeran and you making a song together.
Listen, if I could have a dream collaboration, it'd be Max Martin producing it,
Yeah,
Bruno Mars, and Ed Sheeran.
yeah,
$1 billion song.
yeah. But I promise you, it's not impossible because entire you looking like a superstar. Like,
Thank you, man. That means a lot to me. I really, really appreciate that. And just know that it took a lot of work, and I will never stop, trying to become better. Even if only God knows this, but even if I really believe, even if I'm blessed with the fame and the money and the status and all this stuff, my
hmm,
goal is to leave a legacy behind. Like I really want to make that name, Grayybird,
yeah,
something that I can keep for the next 100 years. So that's really my goal, man.
yeah. Was
Yeah.
it planned for you to have the bird in a video?
No, you want to hear the quick story of the bird?
Take the long story if you can.
I got you. So wow, I came to Lebanon. I'm 24 years old. I came to Lebanon and I had quit music. I was really down. My girlfriend and I broke up. The label that I was with dropped me. They're like, you know what, we don't want to work with you no more. The manager I had just didn't believe in me anymore, and I left home. And I remember I moved back into my dad's house, and my dad hated me doing music. So you can imagine where I was mentally.
Yeah,
I get a phone call from my mom, and she says, "Hey, listen, like you haven't been home in 8 years. I think it's time that you come home to Lebanon." And at that point, I was like, "Okay, screw it. I give up. I'm not going to do music anymore." So I remember I bought these insurance books. I was going to study insurance, and I fly to Lebanon, and I'm there, and I'm studying for this exam, and I'm hating it. I'm like, "This is not what I want to do, man." And I meet the bird. I see the bird in the cage. I'm like, "How long has this guy been in there?" And he's just like this little bird in the cage, and he's not moving. And my mom says, "Well, I'm scared to touch him because he bites. So he's been in there for 6 years."
wow.
And I'm like, "This poor fucking bird, excuse my language, this poor bird, man.
Mm,
Someone needs to take him out of the cage." So I remember I went in to grab him and he bit me really hard and he actually drew blood. But I remember I grabbed him and I let him free. I remember the look on the bird's face. He's just like, "Wait a minute, I can fly? Like I'm free?" And the first thing he did was he lands on my shoulder. And I remember like in that moment, I'm like, the light bulb went off in my head. I'm like, I wonder if I could sing with him here. Like, has anyone done that before? Because he sings, I sing. And I remember I went inside and I recorded Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls. I recorded it with him on my shoulder and I posted the video. No, I didn't post. I actually kept it for a week. And I remember I'm just sitting there and I'm rethinking to myself, like, should I start the TikTok thing? Am I going to really do music again?
mm,
And then one day I was like, you know what? Let's just do it for fun. I posted the video with him, and immediately it got 5K views in the first, I think, 2 3 hours, which was huge because my account had like 100 followers.
mm,
And that's where it started, man. I'm like, you know what? Maybe maybe the whole songwriting thing led me here. So I started posting every single day, and then within a month of posting, I did the Let Her Go cover, and it just I remember I gained 100,000 followers in like 6 days with the bird, and that gave me the start. That allowed me to start releasing music. That allowed me to start paying for my equipment through music. Which was a really big deal for me. I had never been able to pay my bills with just music. I
yeah.
started live. I started, I did the course, and I'm definitely not where I want to be, financially yet, but like it started my career. So thank God for that bird, man. I love him to death.
That's so amazing story. Like it should be a movie because it's like it's like you're going down a dark path in your life, and like you're feeling that you don't want to do anything more, and then you save this bird, and like your connection, like being like you get your own inspiration back, and you start singing, and then you blow up at the same time. It's like it's no coincidence. I don't believe in that.
You know what? Funny you mentioned that. So many things happened along the way that deep down in my heart, I'm like, you know what? This is the right path. Like, for example, I was in, I met so many celebrities on my path. Like, the manager that I had met before I came here, he found me at a music store. I was playing guitar, and he's heard my voice. He's like, "Hey, listen, I'm doing a little music video shoot for this small rapper. You should come." Just a random guy. And I remember I said, "Okay, cool. Like, I'll show up." And I show up, and it's Drake. We're at this
What?
hotel. Yeah, and it's Drake's music video for Fall
Whoa.
Back. All right. So I walk in, I look at him, I'm like, small rapper. This is the biggest rapper in the world. He's like, yeah, well, Drake's an old friend. And I remember I'm in the room, and the director who's directing, his name is Director X. I remember through that video shoot, I got invited to this Christmas party, and I ended up having dinner with Director X, who's the biggest director in the world. He's done videos for Bieber and Drake, everyone, any name you could think of.
Yeah.
Then in LA, in LA, I sat down with Bozzy. I don't know if you know Bozzy. He's a really big artist who was working with the manager at the time. I've ran into Shawn Mendes. I've ran into Ali Gady at the mall. So many, just so many things happened along my path where it just kept telling me, God. I feel like God kept saying, "I know this is hard. You just can't give up yet."
Yeah.
He just dropped me like little signs. You know. So
Yeah.
I really believe, man. I really believe in destiny, and that if you just don't quit, and as stupid and as cheesy as it sounds, you
Yeah.
will find a way. You know.
Did you meet Drake?
Yeah, so Drake Drake actually I have a funny story with Drake. So I'm in this music video shoot, and it's I don't know if you know the video, it's called Falling Back. It's like this wedding scene. So there's this long table of like these gorgeous women, and Drake's in the middle. And I'm in the video shoot, and I'm feeling anxious. I'm like, holy shit, like this is crazy. I'm like this 22-year-old, 23-year-old kid at the time. I'm like, this is insane. Like this is Drake. And I'm like, I remember I'm like, I gotta take a minute. So I walk into this room in the back where there's no one in there. And I'm just kind of like chilling. I'm on my phone, and Drake follows me into the room. Now thinking back, I'm like, okay, this is the room where he kind of just comes and chills, and he's just fiddling with his buttons like this. He's in a tuxedo. He's fiddling with his buttons, and I'm like, okay, what am I gonna say? Like, should I even be in here right now? So I
Mhm.
remember I just looked at him and I went like this. I went like this, and then he just gives me like a head nod, and I just I just walk out of the room. Thinking back now, I probably should have started a conversation, but
Yeah.
it was just crazy. Like it was insane that like how that happened. Like a day before, I'm like arguing with my manager about like how my career is not doing anything, and the next day I'm in the room with Drake, and then on the way out, he came to say hello to the guy that I met uh, at the guitar store, and he like kind of dabbed him up. I shook his hand, and I'm like, "Hey man, like great job today." And you realize that these are just they're superstars, but they're also just people. This is just a
Yeah.
human who just really put in a lot of work and met the right people. So
Yeah.
it's not as far as you think, that status and that superstardom, if that's what you're chasing.
No.
Not as far, I think.
No, no, I think the best artists is like the humble ones. Like they know that everyone is like the same. We are equal.
Yes.
Like they can talk to you, but the thing is, like they have a hard to trust people, because so many people want something from them. So
Right.
that's why they are a little bit like, okay, I need to back off here. So you're not easy to find them. You like to talk to them. Like you cannot just call them and say, hey.
That's it. Like imagine, man, imagine you're at the top of the game, and then all of a sudden anyone who anyone is always like, great job, I always believed in you, and you're like, well, where were you when I had nothing? I get
Yeah.
it. I also understand now, like, when these people are a little bit more arrogant than they should be. When you really dive into their story and where they are, you're like, well, okay, all of the people around them just want to use them and drain them
yeah,
for their resources.
yeah,
But you gotta respect the ones who still, remain humble.
yeah, yeah,
So it's a beautiful trait.
yeah, 100%. So, have you any plan? Like, I'm gonna send these songs to some artists and like try to make them featuring me,
Oh,
featuring,
for me,
sorry, featuring. Yeah, yeah,
hmm. I humbly I say this. I don't think I'm big enough yet to reach out to like the really massive ones.
of
But
course you are.
well, hopefully, and with enough time. The thing is, with those types of things, you know what it is, man. Sometimes you don't even have to be that big. Sometimes it's just being in the right room. I think going to LA for
Yeah,
me is a very good idea because that's
yeah,
where everyone is. That's where all the A&Rs, the management, the people who can connect me to
yeah,
those people. That's where they are. So definitely in the future. I mean, I would love to do a song with Dean Lewis, for example, or Dermot Kennedy, or James Arthur. There's so
yeah,
many people that I would love to do songs with, but I really think that hopefully I get to finish the next four singles. That way
yeah,
I can say, okay, this is my catalog, this is
yeah.
who I am, and whoever wants to take a chance on Graybird, come on down.
Yeah, I think that when you drop them and like showing a music videos, then I think that you're gonna have like more people reaching out, like trying to make a deal with you. So then you maybe can have like, okay, let me just come to LA and then we can discuss, and I can see more for myself
Right.
if this is what I really want. Like,
Right, right. It all starts with the song, man. It all starts with the music, and you know, hopefully in the next little bit, I haven't had the taste yet of having a really viral original song. I felt the covers go viral. I've had a couple covers go like crazy viral, like 10 million, 12 million views, and it's fun. But I haven't really felt the original music yet. So that's my goal for the next
mm,
little bit. And the second that happens, that's when life really starts to change. Like when your song goes crazy, right? That's when the deals come in. That's when things can go overnight. But
yeah,
again, it's all about timing. It's all about you putting in your craft, you writing the best songs, and to me, it's inevitable.
mm,
When it happens is none of my business. How it happens is none of my business. I just know that I'm going to keep writing really, really good songs, and
yeah,
each one is going to get better. And the one that does it, the one that puts Graybird on the map, when it happens, it happens.
yeah, 100%.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And like I'm so thankful that you're taking your time to talk to me. Like,
Of course, man.
what did you think when I'm reaching out to you?
I've had a couple of people reach out and they wanted to do podcasts and stuff. And at first, I wanted to like, what, I'm not big enough to really do podcasts yet. I don't think people should know this part of the story, but I think, what, it came to me the other day. I'm like, this is important. This is important that I share this stuff, and that's why,
Yeah,
I also just want to say thank you for having me. It's it's sharing the story. I
yeah,
think later on in the couple years down the line, looking back at this will be nice. I'll say, wow, like that's where I was then,
yeah,
and hopefully I'll be proud.
yeah,
Hey, yeah, I
100%.
did it. I did it. I'm with my Swedish friend here,
Yeah,
and we're talking about taking over the world.
yeah, 100%. And I had so many connections I'm gonna give to you, so
Thank you, man. I
you can start
appreciate that.
working with some talented here in Sweden as well.
I need to head over to Sweden. I need to head over there. So
Yeah,
hopefully, man, hopefully. Again, I'm a big believer in God, and I
yeah,
trust. It's hard to trust his path sometimes. It's really hard sometimes because you don't know what he's beyond us. You
yeah,
know what I mean? But if it's meant to happen, it's gonna happen. So that's definitely a desire of mine.
yeah,
Maybe I'll get me
100%.
a Swedish wife while I'm down there.
Yeah, yeah, you can move here. So when you start making a song, what is the first that you start with?
You know what? It really depends on the song, first of all. Like, sometimes it could be an idea, like a certain phrase that I have, or sometimes it could be a melody. Sometimes it could just be a guitar riff. It really comes down to, I think each song has its own uniqueness. For the next song that's dropping, for Good Man, how did that even happen? I was in, oh yeah, that's right. So for the next song, for example, the way that that song happened, I had just broken up with the girl that I was dating, and I remember that phrase. Um, this is how you lose a good man. Because at the time, it was one of those scenarios where I don't think I really did anything wrong. Maybe just lack of experience, maybe. But I remember at the time, I'm like, I was really good to this girl. And I remember having the lyrics, "This is how you lose a good man," and so that's how that song started. And I sat there and I found the chords for it, and I started dissecting what I wanted to say. For "Losing Light," for example, the song that I just dropped recently, that song started with a splice loop. Splice is a website where you can find like little instrumental loops.
Yeah,
And, that started like that. So it really depends. Songs to me are like their own unique individual stories. Each one has its own way of creation and way of forming.
yeah,
So it depends, man. But some they just Ed Sheeran says it best. Songs are weird things. They come and they go.
yeah. So, what do you do some days when you don't have any inspiration for making a song?
I don't write. A lot of artists, they try to sit and they force it. When I think you can't force art, and if you do, it comes out forced. you know
Yeah,
wait, go through life, go have experiences, study songs. I remember that's what I did for so many years. I
mm,
would study why is this song special. I would study melodies. I would study lyrics. The gift that I have before singing, thank God, I'm grateful for it, is an ability to be clever in writing something simple. I think that's the best advice for songwriters. How to say something simple, but in a clever way. You know what I mean? Like
mm,
for the last song, it goes, "If I say I love you tonight, I promise I'll leave with the stars. Looking up, we're losing light, so love me until we see dark." It's poetry,
yeah,
right? It's very simple. It's just saying, "Love me until there's no more light." And I
yeah,
call the song Losing Light. Losing Light is a unique name. It's a clever way of saying, "Love me until there's nothing."
yeah,
So I think it's most important to be clever. And if you're not having inspiration, don't force it, man. Let it
yeah,
flow. Yeah.
yeah. That's a good advice. So, what advice do you have for any artist that wants to make it in the music career right now?
All right. So the cold, blunt advice is be prepared to not see success for many years. That might be a possibility. It's probably very likely because you're competing in a game of billions of people. However, you must not look at it that way, even though that's what it seems like on the outside. I really believe that if you build the core convictions, the subconscious beliefs that you are an amazing artist, that you're going to attract all of those circumstances for you to, experience that reality. Train your mind, most importantly. Train your instruments, write every day, produce if you can, learn songwriting, content. You live in
Mm,
a world now where if you're not in front of a camera pushing yourself, you're going to be a ghost.
yeah,
So, to the artist doing this, I recommend you get yourself on TikTok, write songs every day,
mm,
find producers, and have this work ethic of no matter what happens, I'm going to do music. With a long enough time frame, man, you will make it. But this is not for the weak. This is not
no.
for the weak.
So you said to me that you play instrument as well.
Yes.
Which one you play more? And did you say
Guitar.
guitar?
Big fan of the guitar. I've been playing since I was about maybe 12, 12, 13. I play a little bit of piano here and there. I definitely got to brush up on my piano. And you know what it is, man? I understand the music now.
Hmm.
I'm very grateful to work with my producer. His name is Kenicky. He's one of the greatest producers I've ever met. We've been in the studio. We put in our 10,000 hours. We've definitely done that. We've written hundreds of songs. I just understand music now. I know what at least my music needs. Like if I hear a song, I know where the piano should go, where the drums should go, and
Yeah,
there's a feeling, there's a swing and a groove, as Bruno Mars says, that I'm looking for in these songs. So, and it again, it's just practice, insane practice.
yeah. Never give up.
You can't, you
No,
can't. There's no fun in that.
no.
At
You
least if you
need
try,
you,
you say you
you
did
need
it.
to you need to love what you're doing. You not go in for the money. You need to love it, and then it's gonna come. I think if it's meant to be.
That was advice I got from Director X. I remember sitting with him at this Christmas party, and again, he's one of the biggest directors in the world. And he said to me, he said, I remember I asked him, I'm like what advice do you have for people doing, their craft or working on their craft? He says, okay. He says it like this too. I'll never forget it. He says, do you love it? I said, yes. He's like, end of story. That's what you should be doing. The
Yeah,
how, the when, all that other stuff you can break down. But do you love it? I said, yes. He said, okay, well, do it. Because if you don't love it and you just do something for the money, at some point you're going to be very rich and very unhappy. And
yeah,
guess what? You can't get back time. You can get back money. You can get back, you know, learning, work habits or whatever, but you cannot get back the time.
yeah,
So I always said this, man. I always said if it didn't work, at least I would rather live with it not working than
yeah,
the regret of not trying.
yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
So true. So, are you planning to do any tours this year? Like going out
So
singing?
hopefully in the next little bit. So my fan base right now, the problem with my fan base is, or not the problem, the situation with my fan base is it's very scattered. I have some people in Indonesia and some people in the States, but there's not really a big clump of people in one place yet.
Yeah,
So I think realistically in my mind, another year of building on TikTok, getting to about 1.5, 1.6 million, and then I could start doing little small tours. However, if a song drops in the next 6 months and goes crazy, then you'll see me on tour hopefully in the next six
yeah,
months. So
yeah,
it really depends. It really depends. But down the line, for sure, in the next 3 years, definitely a tour.
yeah. It's so strange that you are like in the middle of a journey right now when we're
Yeah.
talking. So it's so exciting to see where you're going right now.
Thank you.
Um, I'm so sure that you're just going up.
Thank you. Hopefully, man. Hopefully, if I've put in the work, and
Yeah,
I wouldn't even say middle, to be honest with you. In my mind, this is still the start. Like this is only my first year on
yeah,
TikTok. So I'm glad that we're doing this. This is a great little benchmark to look back at.
yeah,
So yeah, again, grateful for you spending the time here, and this will be awesome to look back at in the next 5 years. Be like,
yeah.
wow, look where we came from.
Exactly.
So
This
and
is
that
the start.
microphone is super cool, by the way. I keep looking at it.
What?
The microphone, the red microphone, looks super cool, by the way.
Yeah, it's a streaming microphone.
Dope. That's dope, man.
Yeah, so it's matching with my chair.
That's what's up. Oh man, I have so many microphones that I want to get in the future. They're
Yeah.
like super expensive, but hopefully in the future, there's one called the Telefunken. It's the microphone that all the A-listers record on.
Okay.
Yeah, I love microphones. I'm a big fan of microphones.
But you just need right now a Shure SM7B, I think, and a
Yeah, yeah.
like
I
a
actually have that. I actually record on that.
yeah, and like what they call on this one, Focusrite. You only need like that and a DAW. Like which DAW
Nowadays, yeah.
do you use?
I use a Focusrite. Nowadays, you don't really need much. It's
No.
it's insane. Like there are kids, bro. There are kids recording with like a snowball microphone and a
Yeah,
sock over.
Yeah, yeah,
Like it's a weird world we live in, but
yeah,
TikTok, again, we gotta thank TikTok. TikTok gave a chance to the
yeah,
starving artists and said, you know what? You make a career. Just put in the work.
yeah. And you should also like go live on every platform, like on YouTube, the same time. You can have like go live on Kick, YouTube, and TikTok at the
Yeah,
same time.
yeah. You know what? I I'm about to hit 20K subscribers on YouTube, thankfully. So I do definitely want to start streaming on YouTube too. That would be
Yeah,
really cool. But
yeah,
TikTok Live, man, TikTok Live is where it's at. Thankfully, financially it helps so much.
yeah.
So
And
grateful.
and I think if you like putting out like on your YouTube channel where you are right now, and if you like documentary like your life right now,
Yeah.
I think that's gonna blow up too. So then you have like income from YouTube as well, because that's a really good income too.
That's a great idea, actually. I was actually thinking of that the other day. I'm like, you know what? So many people want to hide the come up, right? But
Yeah,
the fans want to see that. Like, if I was to look at, like, I would love to look at, like, Bruno Mars's story when he was, like,
yeah,
25, or, like, Ed Sheeran, like, before they blew up. I would love to watch that just to
yeah,
see where their mind was at. So that's definitely a great idea, man. I think I'm definitely gonna incorporate that at some point.
yeah. And also everyone on social media, they just showing the good life. They don't show the hard part and like the struggle. Like,
And there's a lot of it. There's a
yeah,
lot of it. But you know what, dude? Like, I've lived the massive struggles. When I was 19, my father kicked me out of the house because I wanted to do music, and I was homeless for the next 3 years.
wow,
I lived on air mattress. I slept on air mattresses. I slept in offices. I've worked jobs, every single job I could think of. And but I was always doing the music. I always had this sheer belief. Even like one of like my ex-girlfriend at the time, I remember one time I was at her house, and she looks at me and she says, like nothing around you is telling you that you should do this. You're in a very bad situation. Why are you still doing this? And I remember I'm at her house with all our friends surrounding us. I'm like maybe 20, 21. And I remember just saying there with like sheer belief. I'm like, this is gonna work. I'm like, maybe not now, but this is gonna work one day.
yeah,
And you have to have that. If you don't have that belief, man, and it's hard. It's really hard sometimes, especially if you're struggling.
yeah,
But dude, God rewards the patient.
yeah. And I also think like you also need to surround yourself with just positive people. Like no one should say like something bad around you, because
Yeah, dude,
that,
that's huge.
yeah,
That's huge. I totally agree with that.
yeah. And how is your relationship with your father today?
You know, in all honesty, it's not the best. Only because a lot of personal things happened, between him and my mother when I was younger, and he's very successful. He chose a different path, and there's no animosity, there's no hate or anything like that. It's just you gotta let people be. The
Yeah,
bird is a great analogy. If someone wants to fly a certain direction, you can't stop them.
yeah,
And hopefully, deep down, I would love to mend that bridge one day.
yeah,
But right now, the only thing I'm focused on is getting to where I said I was going to be.
yeah,
So if it happens in the future, I'm open to that.
yeah. So like I said, your story should be a movie. Like you have been in so much struggle and see so much darkness, but now the light is coming.
Slowly but surely, man. Slowly but
Yeah,
surely. And yeah, looking back, like this is definitely like I definitely left out a lot of details, but oh yeah, man, there was definitely a lot of struggle. But that's the story I'm gonna tell one day.
yeah,
And without the struggle, I'm happy. If God does decide to bless me, and I think He will one day with everything,
yeah,
I know what nothing feels like. So
yeah,
I think I'm more equipped to handle it and to
mm,
maintain it. When people want to be here, but they don't understand what here requires. The
yeah,
person that you have to be to maintain fame and status and relationships and money and all this. We want all these things.
Yeah.
Like, are we willing to become the person who deserves those things? So I'm
Yeah.
happy. I'm happy I went through all that shit.
Yeah.
Made me strong, man.
Yeah, like everything you go through is like something you learn from it and go and you get stronger, like you said.
It's your story. It's your
Yeah.
story. I remember labels would always tell me like you have no story. Like when I was younger. Now I do. Now I got a hell of a story, and
Yeah. And the bird is with you.
it shapes you, man. It makes you when you're a kid and you're writing these songs. What can you really write about? Bruno used to talk about this. What can you really write about when you're 18?
Yeah.
So and I had to go out and live life. I went out. I went out. I had relationships. I had my heart broken. I struggled. I slept on air mattresses. I had all types of different jobs, and then my writing started to get better. My ear started to evolve.
Yeah.
And the best thing I could say now, the best feeling as an artist is recording a song. And nowadays, what I do is I look for the take that sounds like Grayybird. There's a sound that I look for. I'm like, this sounds like me, and that's what I capture, and that's what I want to put out into the world. So
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah. So the bird is gonna follow you everywhere right now.
No, the bird, he's an old bird. He's about 7. He'll be 7 in July. So I just
Yeah.
want him to stay in good health.
Yeah.
And if I tour, he's gonna stay here. He's gonna
Okay.
stay here in Lebanon. But definitely gonna tattoo him somewhere. I want him to
Yeah.
be there on me.
Yeah. 100%.
Love him. Love that. His name is Cuckoo.
Okay.
Yeah, love that bird, man. Give him
Yeah.
kisses every day.
Yeah.
He's an angry bird. He's a little. Well, I'm gonna film this one day and maybe document it. He's if you wake him up before 11, he's pissed.
All right. Yeah, it was so fun to talk to you, man. And like
Likewise.
the last thing, like what do trust your grind means to you?
Say one more time.
What do trust your grind means to you?
What does trust your grind mean to you? That's a great question. Trust your grind. What does it mean to me? It means that no matter where you are, no matter how old you are, what we do as humans is we compare ourselves to other people. We think, okay, but look at him. He has this at this age, and she's doing this, and I don't have any of that. I think every soul is sent to this earth with a different, unique story. I think the
Yeah.
ones that make it the farthest dive into their authenticity. They fall in love with who they are so much, and they don't look at anyone else. They just focus on their own path, and they
Mm,
become so in tune with who they are and the art or the energy that they give as themselves. I think that they become their own superstars, and everyone around them is attracted to their movie, to their story. So, trusting your grind is knowing that there might be long periods of time where you hate what you're doing, but guess what? That's what makes it rare. That's what makes it. Um, that's what stops a lot of people. Because if it was easy, everyone else would do it.
yeah.
So just fall in love with who you are, fall in love with your craft, and know that with enough time, it will manifest. I truly believe that.
Yeah. And like I said, like I'm gonna have contact with you and see how it's going. But I'm just gonna say this, and I wish you so good luck now, and I hope that I'm gonna see you on the billboards in like 1 year from now.
Hopefully, man. We'll see. I'm gonna
Yeah,
I'm gonna try my absolute hardest. The rest is up to God. But I really
yeah,
want to say thank you for that. Thank you for the kindness. Thank you for having me here.
yeah.
And it was fun. It was fun talking to you, man. Hopefully you enjoyed the little background on.
Yeah, 100%. And I think the audience that listens have learned a lot of things too, because you are so talented, but you still have not reached your success yet. So they can like feel like, oh, this is not an easy business to work in this like music career. It's not gonna be easy for me. So it's a little bit maybe a wake up call to people that they really need to put the hard work in
Yes, sir.
and
Yes,
like
sir.
love
All the
love
time.
the work. Yeah.
Love the work and love the process,
Yeah.
right? But I'll say this, um, all in good time.
Yeah.
Really, like
Yeah.
time. Just give it the time. Put in the work, and your time will come.
Yeah. Thanks everyone to listening to this podcast, and go in if you don't follow Graybird, and I'll see you soon again. Peace out.